So we are almost to the end of our pillowcase here. The last thing we need to do is to just sew on the edges that we pinned. So I'm gonna adjust my camera. I'm going to use a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Again, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm going to start on my long edge as I have before. And I'm going to start at the end with the border. I have already adjusted my blue masking tape to be where the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance is. I'm going to line my fabric up, the edge of my fabric up with the edge of my blue tape, lower my presser foot, lower my needle. I do want to make sure that I backstitch at the beginning and at the end. So I'm going to go forward, backstitch, forward, and I'm just going to keep going on straight. Again, right here where my border fabric and my main fabric meet, there's a lot of layers of fabric right here. So you want to make sure that you have given your fabric just enough guidance that it needs to get through all those thick layers. So as you get to the end, of this edge here, there are two options for the corner part. You can either pivot at the corner, or you can just continue to sew a straight seam and backstitch here, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up kind of the other end of my pillowcase. It's fallen off and tugging. So I am going to backstitch here at this end. Backstitch, forward, backstitch to the end, or excuse me, stitch to the end and then backstitch again. Pull it out. Okay, so now I have my long edge sewn together, and I'm now going to do the shorter edge. Same as with the long edge, we are going to place the end of our fabric along the blue masking tape at a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I'm going to lower my presser foot down, lower my needle, and I'm going to backstitch at the beginning and backstitch at the end as I did before. So forward, backstitch, forward, making sure I take my pins out as I go. And you probably need to pick up your pillowcase and kind of move it over because it's going to want to tug. My fingers on each side of my presser foot here, back stitch, forward, and I get to the end, I'm going to back stitch a tad bit, and then forward, lift my presser foot. So now I have got my short end sewn together, as well as my long end sewn together.